So for me, I'll be using this DAC amp combo as my reference. And before we continue with this review, I would like to thank iFi for sending this unit out for my review. So let's get started, shall we? So first of all, let's look at the build quality of this. This thing is beautiful. I mean, it's just built rock solid. It's got a nice style here for the volume, multifunction. You press it down, it pauses the audio. It's got two buttons in the front, one for switching the input as well as a power button. Then you have a 4.4 millimeter balance connection. And that's really nice to see on a headphone amplifier because a lot of headphones and IEMs are starting to come out with this 4.4 millimeter balance connection. And right next to it, we have the standard 6.3 millimeter unbalanced connection. So one thing that really stands out about this DAC amp unit is how sleek and compact it is, considering that there is a DAC and amplifier all in one. As you see right here with my current setup, I have a separate DAC and then an amplifier, and even the amplifier alone is much bigger than this. And to me, one of the coolest features that stands out about this DAC amp is the fact that you can put it in vertical mode, just like this. And it's a real desktop space saver, as you see right here. This is the mode that I used it in, standing up, and it worked out great. Depending on the surface that you put it on, it doesn't slide too much, which is great, as there are some rubber feet down here at the bottom. And one other cool thing that makes this work is, as you see here, the display is in horizontal mode. Once you switch it over to vertical, the display goes ahead and turns with it. All right, now let's head over to the back of this unit to show you guys the connectivity on it. So the Neo iDSD not only has unbalanced outputs through RCA, it also has balanced XLR output. So you can actually use a Neo iDSD as a preamp, and you can actually hook it up through the XLR connections to a more powerful amplifier such as the AAA 789, and you can set it up so you can control the volume through here. So a very cool feature to have if you wanted to upgrade to a more powerful amplifier in the future, because I will talk about the power output of this, and it's actually not that high, but more on that later. Now for the digital inputs, you have plenty of options. You have coaxial, optical, USB 3.0, as well as Bluetooth 5.0, which is a really cool feature to have. So yeah, as far as build quality, this is like a 9 or 10, especially with comparing it with my THX AAA 789. That just looks like a black box, and it's kind of bulky, as you can see there. On the other hand, the iFi Neo iDSD has some nice, sleek edges as well as rounded features, as you see right here, which makes it really unique. Okay, so now let me talk about some of the features of the Neo iDSD. First of all, it has the Burr Brown DAC, which supports DSD 512, PCM 768, as well as MQA for those people that use Tidal Music Service. While the Bluetooth 5.0 supports audio quality up to 24 bits and 96 kilohertz, I wouldn't buy this DAC amp just for the Bluetooth feature. It's a nice feature to have, but don't get me wrong, I just don't think the audio quality is up there with a direct connection via the USB connection or optical. You might as well save your money and buy something else if you want to be streaming with Bluetooth. Now I know there's been a lot of talk with the THX AAA 789 not really being a fully balanced amplifier. However, with the iFi Neo iDSD, this is a fully balanced differential DAC amplifier, and it's got about 1 watt of output. Now 1 watt of output doesn't seem a lot for an amplifier, but it was able to power my Beyerdynamic 250 ohm DT1990 Pros without a problem and with some room to spare. And I listen to my music quite loud. So I think you'll be fine with this amplifier for most headphones, unless of course you have a 600 ohm headphone somewhere lying around that you want to use. Then you might want to consider something more powerful like the THX AAA 789. Now iFi states that this DAC amp is built with audiophile grade components to reproduce music without any distortion or coloration, and I found that to be accurate. And whether you plan to use MP3s, FLAC files, DSD audio files, or even MQA titles on Tidal's music streaming service, this DAC amp has everything you need to do all that. Okay, but now let's talk about what most of you are probably interested in knowing is how does it sound, especially compared with the THX AAA 789. So first I'm going to talk about how it sounded with the Beyerdynamic DT1990 Pro, and here are my thoughts on the sound. First of all, in the treble region, the highs sound very good, very airy. Instruments sound great and clear. Mid bass is impactful. The sub bass is also very good. I would say that male vocals sound good, but female vocals sound excellent with this DAC amp. And I'm going to be honest in saying that the iFi Neo iDSD had a lot more detail than the THX AAA 789. And that should be the case because the Neo iDSD is actually more expensive than the THX AAA 789, especially if you're just looking at the amplifier alone. However, once you throw in the DAC unit that you're going to have to get, then the price does go up. So keep that in mind when I do the comparison with the iFi Neo iDSD and the THX 789, and knowing that the iFi Neo iDSD is actually more expensive than that. However, for a couple hundreds more, you could get this. So just something to throw out there as you listen to my review. And let me just say that the THX AAA 789 is a great budget amplifier. So that amplifier is definitely a good choice if you are on a budget. However, if you're looking to upgrade from the 789 or you're looking to spend a little bit more on your audio equipment to put you in the mid tier, then the Neo iDSD is one to consider. And let me tell you why. The THX AAA 789 has a flatter sound signature. So that means if you like listening to music and you want a neutral sound that's not too bass heavy, not too treble high, that is a good choice. However, for me, when I was A/B testing, the sound sounded more compressed on the 789 to me. At the same time, it also sounded more relaxed and easy to listen to. As I was going back and forth between the AAA 789 and the iFi Neo iDSD, I quickly noticed that I was missing some of the sounds on the AAA 789 that I was hearing on the iFi Neo. One thing I did notice was that the male vocals did sound a bit better on the AAA 789 for some reason. On the 789, it almost feels like the highs are a little bit rolled off. So if you're sensitive to treble, that might be a better amp for you. But female vocals definitely sound better on the iFi Neo iDSD. So if you're planning on just using a streaming service such as Tidal or Spotify or something like that, then the 789 might not be a bad choice. But if you're planning to download high resolution FLAC files or DSD audio, then I would definitely have you consider the iFi Neo iDSD for the following reasons. When I listen to my DSD audio files, this is some of the things that I experienced. So with the iFi, I experienced super high fidelity. There was just a lot of detail in the music. Highs were very airy. The iFi just really opened up that soundstage, just made it a lot more wider. Whereas the AAA 79 was maybe here, the iFi expanded it out to here. With the iFi, the imaging was just like pinpoint accuracy, whereas the AAA 789, you could tell that the sound was coming from somewhere over there, but with the iFi, you were able to pinpoint it's coming from right there. So everything from the deep lows to the highs just sounded better on the iFi. The music sounded just more grand and you really felt encompassed by the music, whereas on the AAA 789, the music was just kind of laid out in front of you for easy listening, where it was there, but you're not really wanting to bob your head along with it. Whereas when I was listening to the iFi, I literally wanted to just start bobbing my head to go with the music, not so much so with the AAA 789. So again, it depends on your personal preference of how you like to listen to your music. So with the AAA 789, it's much more subtle, relaxed, flatter sound signature. Unfortunately, I didn't hear all the details in the music that I did with the iFi. The soundstage is narrower and the imaging is not as accurate. So now let me talk about how the iFi Neo did with these planar magnetic headphones, the iDSD LCD2 Classics. While you may be asking, how do I listen to the Classics if they don't have a 4.4mm Pentacon balance cable? So what I did was I used this adapter here. So I plugged in my XLR cable here, and this on the other end is a 4.4mm balance connection, which I can just plug in here. And then I could just plug in my headphones that way. So if you guys need this balance XLR to 4.4mm adapter cable, I will leave a link down in the description below. You guys could pick it up. I definitely recommend it. It's nice and thick and durable. So as far as the sound with the planar magnetic headphones, it was pretty much the same as with the Barrier Dynamic. However, certain things really stood out. One of those was the sub bass. So because these really emphasize the bass and sub bass, so on songs such as Dream On by Aerosmith, I really could feel that sub bass coming in. Whereas on the 789, it was just kind of missing. So that sub bass was kind of not there, and I felt like it really affected the music. Again, with the AAA 79, you get that feeling that the music is just there and you're listening to it. But with the iFi Neo iDSD, the music is more impactful. You really feel encompassed by it and you really start getting into it. Like when you're listening to it, it's just a good feeling. So same thing with the highs way on top. You don't get that sparkle that you do with the iFi on the AAA 789 here. Okay, so here is my conclusion, you guys. If you want a DAC amp combo all-in-one that fits on your desk easily, whether it's horizontal or vertical, then this might be for you, especially if you're looking for a mid-tier desktop DAC amp that's all in one unit and it has a balanced connection, because more and more headphones such as the Sennheiser 660S come with the Pentacon connector here. So this makes it easier if you have a balanced portable DAC amp and using a 4.4mm connection. When you get home, you can just plug in your headphones or IEMs here and you're good to go. You have that nice balanced audio that everybody wants. Aesthetically, this thing is beautiful, sleek, and I do think the price is fair considering what you get. And like I said, it's good enough to power my 250 ohm headphones. And I really like the sound of it. Also, if you are a gamer, you're better off with the iFi Neo than the 789. You just get a little bit more detail and those highs that are gonna help you track down